Hey, welcome back to my channel. My name is Meg, and today we're going to be doing another Throwback Thursday collab video, and that is with the Gourmande Girls Cosmetics Bitten eyeshadow palette. Sorry, my lights are definitely bouncing off of that quite severely, but this is the color story. If you have not seen it before, I absolutely adore it. Gourmande Girls Cosmetics does some of the best color stories in my opinion, and I really love them. And like now that I've started getting their palettes, I'm just completely obsessed and have major sadness and regret for all the ones that I missed out on. Who knows, maybe one day they'll come back. If you haven't watched one of these videos before and aren't aware, Throwback Thursday collab is something that Caitlin House Daily on Instagram, and I think she's on TikTok as well, but she created this quite a while ago where every week there's a different palette where you can use that specific palette or you can use it for inspiration. You can dupe it. You can find another palette that's from that brand. Could be a completely different color story, but working with the brand inspired you to play with that palette, however you see fit. The whole base point of it is to grab something out of your collection and give it some love and attention. So that is what we're doing today. I'm very excited to dig back into this palette. It's not too old, like in the grand scheme of like, like throwback, palettes that have been brought up, but it's one that I definitely haven't really had the chance to dig into again recently, so I'm really excited to give it some more love and see where it goes. I do have a specific look in mind. I pulled up this look that I had done quite a while ago. I can't even remember what palette this was with, but I want to do something similar, but like sort of two tones, like the wing part one kind of color scheme, the inside part another. And then I'm going to, I think, use this from VC Beauty. It's one of their retro liners in the shade Mist, and it's just this beautiful kind of like bluey gray that I think will play off of like both color schemes really well and kind of bring everything together. So that is the plan. I'm going to zoom you in, like let's get a little closer here so you can see the detail work a bit better. Once zoomed in, try to ignore my nose makeup. It is so splotchy today, but whatever. A base just sometimes doesn't work out perfectly. But enough about that. Let's get started on the look. Okay, so as I said, we're going to go like a little two-tone with that look that I showed. So we're going to do like, the inner kind of part here, a couple of shades, and then when we do like sort of the winged aspect, it's going to be some other shades in there. And I think for like this part, I really want to go in with, it's like a deep kind of green with sort of gray tones, or is it gray? I always get messed up with this one. I think actually when I swatched it out, it's more of a gray. But either way, we're going to go in with this, let me try to hold it up, this shade here, Hunted, and then we're going to try to blend out with this one here, Elemental Dust. So I'm going to pull up just a small detail brush. And we're just going to start going in on the inner kind of part of the lid here, kind of bridge. I'm not too worried about this under part here because like we can clean it up a bit, and then we're also going to go in with liner. So I more so just want to focus on getting like the depth and stuff that I want to achieve. So today, as I'm filming this, it's going to be going up like later. Like I think this goes up Feb 5th or something like that. Whatever the date is on Thursday that week, next week. But filming today is my 41st birthday. So I was supposed to work today, but the weather had other plans, and it is such bad snow that my work and the kids' school and everything turned into a snow day. So I will take it. So I'm getting some filming done, hanging out with my kiddos, getting ready for our trip that's coming up on Wednesday. We leave. I really hope that this weather gets it out of its system before then, so that way our trip doesn't get delayed. I just hope that nothing happens to like our flight out to Florida. I'm gonna now go with that Elemental Dust shade with like a small kind of pencil slash blending brush. And we're just gonna blend on top of this. But yeah, so I've had a relaxing morning and caught up on some C-dramas. Had some kimchi pancakes because I'm obsessed with them right now. And yeah, and then also doing like laundry and packing and all that exciting stuff, you know. But I don't know, when you get to my age, it's not like about partying or whatever. Not even just my age, like when you're in the situation where you've got kids and whatever. I'm not saying that you can't still do that stuff if you want to, but I feel like your perspective on it just changes and you don't really care about doing that stuff as much anymore. I am realizing as I'm doing this that I think I kind of brought this out this way a bit more than in the other look, but that's okay. I'm going to go in with a tinge more of Hunted, which definitely is a gray, like the more I use it. I don't know why, like when I look at it in the pan, like it always looks a little green to me, but then when I use it and swatch it, I'm like, oh no, that's like totally a gray. But I guess it's just the way, trick of the eyes. And then we're gonna go back in with that other brush that we used for Elemental Dust, but like no product on it, and just try to really blend those two together. Doing this, and then I have one other video that's supposed to go up before this one on the Tuesday, so as of right now I don't know if it'll be filmed and up, so either when you're seeing this you saw a video on Tuesday and great, or we skipped Tuesday that week just because I didn't have time to pre-film and edit and all that stuff before going away. So if that happened, sorry, but as I've said in other videos, this is a hobby. And unfortunately, sometimes stuff's gonna get skipped. My biggest goal is to try not to have like 2-month gaps as I've had in the past when I've had to like take a break or I've gotten overwhelmed. And I can't promise that that won't happen again, but I'm trying to avoid it. All right, before we go in with the other shadows, I want to clean this area up a bit. So I'm gonna have to go grab some micellar water and a Q-tip. We'll clean that up and we'll put on a little bit more eye base to even out the skin, and then we will go from there. So I will be right back. All right, so I put a little bit in a cup here. Get myself close again. And I have a Q-tip. I like trying to use like the pointed Q-tips when I do this. And I'm just gonna clean up. And I'm just flipped over and I'm now on the side with like nothing on it, just to help pick up any excess liquid so it's staying somewhat dry. And then we'll grab another one and do the other eye. No. Like, if any advice I could give, like, don't be afraid to have to do this with your makeup. Like, it's not so scary and hard to do. And if you just take your time, you can always add more shadow. You can always fix things. So, and like even with that, I feel like I wiped away a little too much of this shade, so I'm just going back in along the edge there just to make sure the depth is the same on both sides, but super simple. And then I'm going to grab a little bit more. Actually, I think I still have some because this is what I used for my eye base today. I still have a little bit on the brush here. We don't need a ton because I still have it on my eye. It's really just like right there. that it got wiped away. I love hearing my kids like cooperatively playing at stuff. Like I've got 2 boys and they're very close in age, and so I think it's similar to like my sister and I, which, sis, if you're watching this, I love you. But you know, I'm not lying, that growing up, especially I think when you're close in age, like I think every age group probably has its things, but you can butt heads a lot. And so I love it when I hear them like cooperatively playing and stuff. It's just, I don't know, it's just really nice. Let's go in. I need, I think, like an angled brush. All right, this'll do. So now we're gonna go in with the purpley shades, and I think I'm gonna go in with the shade, the deepest shade in the palette here, Hellmouth. I don't remember how this swatches out. I definitely see that it's not like a black. It looks like kind of like a purpley one to me, like a purpley dark shade, but who knows? I guess we'll see when we get there. We're gonna start to create that wing. Really trying to make sure I tap off, because we can go over stuff to add depth and pigmentation, but it's really hard to clean up if, like, especially if a dark shade sprinkles all over my makeup where I didn't intend for it to. And then we're gonna go from the tip. Trying to be careful, like I want to be able to see the space, but I don't want to like lift my eye too much because it's going to change the way that this lays down. All right. Just want to make sure this kind of curves somewhat to the way that this one does. Just kind of like that. And then with this brush also, we'll use a different one to fill in a bit more, but we're going to use other shades to like mostly fill this in. I just really want this on the very tip. And I also want to drag this down so it's going just to the lower lash. Like I want this to go down this way. All right, and then we can always touch up with more of that if we end up needing to. I find sometimes the second eye is easier because I've already sort of played with the layout, so I have a bit better idea of where I'm going with everything. Okay, let's get something else. I think we can probably go in with like this. It's like a small packing brush. And I want to jump in with the shade Nosferatu. It's brighter kind of purple. Well, brighter deep purple. There's also like the shade Fangs, but it's like a bit more like a taupey or muted purple. Like it's deep, but hopefully you know what I'm getting at there. But we're just gonna stamp this in. Right about there. Oh, I might end up having to take a break because I can already feel my eyes starting to water there. And I find that the best way to deal with that when it happens for me is just to kind of stop what I'm doing and give my eye a break. Okay, we did have to do a bit of a pause there to let my eye settle down. But we're going to continue on. And so we are now going to go in with, I say we, I'm now going to go in with the shade, I think we're going to go with Immortal, this light purple. And another packing brush. And just, I'm sure you could have guessed, we're going to put this inwards from that. I'm going to bring it quite a bit, even though there is going to be some shimmer that's going to go on the lid, but I just want to have some pigment down below that. And then we'll have to go back in with the other shades just to make sure that they still have enough impact and pigmentation. We haven't covered them up too much. So we're gonna go back in with Nosferatu. I also want to make sure I bring this along the lash line a little bit. It just helps when you put on lashes later to have a bit of depth. We'll probably have to go back in with that Immortal shade too, just to make sure we're not now covering up too much of that with this. It's always a bit of a back and forth process, but you take the time to do that and you're going to end up with a look that you're a lot happier with, in my opinion. And if I can figure out where I put it, and then back in with a little bit of Hellmouth, just make sure that's blending into that Nosferatu shade nicely. I don't know what happened here, but it's kind of gone out a little bit. We'll have to see if we can fix that later. Then a little bit more Immortal, just to make sure that this blend here is really seamless. I don't really have much product on it, but I'm just going to take this brush that we had Hellmouth on and just make sure that that's as defined over here as it is on the other one. And then the fun part, always, we're going to go in with some glitter glue. I need another flat brush. Put this on the inside. And what shimmer to go in with? I know I used Slayer and Bitten in the last look I did. Part of me wanted to go in with Euphoria, this like shade at the bottom here, and then maybe a little bit of Mina. The Hysteria shade is really nice. I think we're going to try out Euphoria and see what we think, and then I can always go in with something else on top of it if I don't think it's quite blending in the right way, but let's go in. Ooh, that's really pretty. I think we're going to have to like work the blend in a little bit to make sure it's meshing into that Immortal shade. What I might do for that is just try to, once I don't have much product left on the brush, just try to tap it out a bit. Such a pretty shade. Oh my gosh. All right, we're gonna go back in with Immortal. And just kind of, yeah, like even I think just doing that just really helped blend them into each other. Pretty. Okay, now we're gonna go put some liner on, I think, first. So let's go in with some Melt Cosmetics 1987. A nice black liner. We're gonna put this along the lash line a bit too, just to help make sure that everything sticks down there really nicely. Really hope my eye doesn't start to water too bad. And I'm gonna go back in with Hellmouth and that angled brush and put that on top. Right to the inner corner. Okay, and then we're gonna grab a small blending brush and I think we're gonna go with this Fangs shade here. And we're just gonna lightly blend below, just a bit at a time. Blow it out a little bit, but not too much. I think I like how that's looking on that eye. Oh, I love this palette so much. I think with the blend out, we've kind of taken care of that bit of a blurb that was happening in that outer corner there. All right, and before we do like a little pop in the inner corner, I think we're gonna do the liner. So let me get ready for that. All right, I got some water and a little like liner brush. A bit thicker than some of the other ones that I use, but I'm gonna see if we can make this work. I might have to get something a bit more fine-tipped for this. But we're just gonna mix together our water and liner to get the consistency that we want. The only thing I think I'm worried about with this brush, you know what, I'm gonna grab a different brush because it's kind of the way it's working. All right, that's a bit more like it. I just think it's gonna be easier to work with. Do what we want it to do. So I'm gonna first do a line along the bottom of this area. Just like that. I always like to get like the original line in and then we can finesse like making it thicker or whichever. And I'm sorry if this isn't the best focus or view, but I have to be pretty close to the mirror for this. And I want it to really pop, so I am trying to make sure that it like is a thickish line, and then we can like taper it at the ends. Just like that. I think this was a nice color choice for this. Alright, now we're gonna go along there and along there. I don't know if I've actually used this shade for anything.
Hello?
Alright, I might have had to like kind of cut some of that out. My youngest came in, he wanted to read one of my birthday cards to me, so I couldn't say no to that. But we're gonna put on a little bit more glitter glue just on the inner corner on both sides, just to really make it pop now that we've got the liner all on. And then we're gonna go in with that lightest shimmer here, Mina. Just like that, just a nice little pop. And actually, I think I'm gonna take a little bit of this too on the same brush. Just brush it right below. I don't do this all the time. I need to remember to do it more because I think a brow highlight is always a nice way to finish off the look. Oops. Went into that a little too heavy. Perfect. All right, I think that is the look. I am really happy with how that turned out. I think it's really cute, a lot of fun. Really got to explore the color story a bit more, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to go put, you know, lashes and lip on, and we'll be right back to show you the finished look all together. All right, here we are, the finished look. What do we think? How did it turn out? I'm really happy with it. I think it's a lot of fun. It was so great dipping into the Bitten palette again. I just absolutely adore this, and thank you, Caitlin House Daily, for suggesting to use this and getting it out of my collection, having me create with it again. I just really love that. So that is the eye look. I just went in with some Ione like Foxy half lashes. Not super dramatic, but just adds a little something better than my like natural. And then on the lips, I just decided to go bold, and I went with a one of the newer to me Black Moon Cosmetics liquid lips that I just got, and this is the shade Purgatory. I got it in a bundle with another purple, I think it was this one, Ghost. And so that came in like a purpley bundle, and I really like that. A lot of fun. Very dry and matte. I don't know if it's quite, not 100% kiss proof, but I feel like what's mostly coming off is a little bit of the lip liner. I went in around after just to fix up the line with Villain from Unearthly Cosmetics. I just thought the black would really complement like the super deep purple, because it's basically like a black purple. But I absolutely love it. I threw on this little kind of bat-winged heart choker because I just thought it really complemented the look and went with the whole Bitten theme. But yeah, that is the look. I'm really happy with how this turned out. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, it's great using a palette that's not brand new and revisiting it and giving it some fresh love. So I hope you like this. I greatly appreciate if you gave the video a thumbs up, comment down below, subscribe, stick around for more content. I hope you're enjoying this more consistent uploading schedule. We'll see how we do. And without further ado, I will catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye.